Performance management is defined by Atkinson and Shaw as a strategic integrated process which incorporates goal setting, carrying out a performance appraisal, and arranges training and development into a coherent framework. Based on this, promotion and rewards are recommended. It is a joint activity between manager and supervisor. Armstrong and Steffens define reward management as a process of formulation and implementation of strategies and policies in order to create a fair and continuous reward system consistent with their value to the organization. It also deals with the design, implementation, and maintenance of reward processes and practices aimed at improving the organization, group, and individual activities. The process of performance management involves objective setting, performing and developing, and performance review. Objective setting is the starting point of the cycle. It is a joint activity between manager and employee. It is where individual objectives are linked to organizational goals. Goals here must be concrete in order to be measurable during performance, and this is usually a challenge. Culture influences goal setting. Rawson gives an example of how European managers strive for results more than North American or Asia Pacific countries. Indian cultures, being low individualistic and low masculinity, prioritize relationship and well-recognized work over accomplishment of objectives. Our second step is performing and developing. Managers here play an important role in motivating, coaching, and enabling performance, also in organizing resources and facilitating any development opportunities. To be competent, managers must make sure objectives are achievable. Performance reviews are the third step. Formal assessments here are key. These may be performance appraisals or more frequent reviews such as normal day-to-day feedback and comments. Reward is based on review.
There are two basic types of pay schemes, although many organizations have systems which include elements of both. These include fixed levels of pay and reward linked to performance. Fixed levels of pay are wages or salaries which do not vary from one period to the next, except by defined pay increases, generally or on an annual basis. There may be scales of payment determined by age, responsibility, or seniority. Reward linked to performance may be linked on a daily, weekly, monthly, or annualized basis. Sales functions are commonly paid on the basis of turnover. Manual and production workers may be paid according to work completed or items produced. Both methods, however, work smoothly, provided that skills are easy to understand and the methods of measuring completed work are obvious, accurate, and fair. However, there has been considerable dissatisfaction with the management of pay on both sides of the employment relationship. In recent years, attempts have been made to remedy the situation through new systems and a greater reliance on performance-related pay.
Some challenges of performance management include infrequent feedback provided by appraisals, bias from host country and home country managers during evaluation process, adapting to national culture, agreed goals between expatriates and host country managers, standard forms of documentation being used for domestic and expatriate employees, time and distance affecting performance, dissatisfaction from evaluation where employees are not happy with their feedback, or the timing of appraisals may be too short to adapt and affect performance. Some solutions given to these are providing also informal feedback like day-to-day comments as workers appreciate managers concerning their efforts. On-site or formal expatriates should evaluate appraisals. Providing home country support, also pre-departure training, ease of contact with head office, medical and other facilities to increase motivation. Also, to agree on goals, managers should be familiar with the possible difficulties in the host country. The use of different forms of evaluation for expatriates, which consider their cultural adjustment issues. Communication can be facilitated by video conferencing and also email and fax to keep in touch. Feedback should be given by experienced raters or managers who worked abroad, and as Japanese multi-enterprises do, send expatriates on longer international assignments, understanding the time it takes for expatriates to adapt.
As every aspect in international HRM, and especially in the reward and performance management sector, there are challenges that the organization and employees face. In this sector, it is important to identify a few challenges, but moreover see what solution can be found around them. The main issue companies and their employees face are related to the following: reward unable to attract key skills, poor line management, reward management capability, reward not engaging employees, inability to change reward, employees not understanding or appreciating reward, reward not retrain talent, increase in pension provision costs, not enough cash to meet reward commitments, reward is not perceived as fair, inability to communicate reward effectively. Having identified the challenges that reward management brings along, it is also important to see where solutions can be met, as said before. And this is the solution. Managers should try to detect which reward motivates and attracts employees in order to achieve their satisfaction and retrain talents.
To conclude this video, we would like to show a case study found which demonstrates how to motivate a multicultural workforce to show our understandings. Thank you very much.
And hope you enjoyed the presentation.
This is Bob. Bob is the manager of a multicultural workforce operating in sales and marketing. Since the recession, Bob has noticed that his staff have become increasingly demotivated and needed to find a way to motivate them once more.
But how?
Scenario 1. Bob tries the traditional theory X, which assumes that people need to be rewarded, coerced, intimidated, and punished to work. He applies Taylorism techniques and rewards his employees in cash for the effort they show in their work. Those who showed no effort and made mistakes were punished.
Or even worse, fired.
Bob was left feeling frustrated and more confused than ever. People were not responding well to his new behavior. He found that although many of his Asian staff were happy with monetary rewards, they were extremely discouraged by his autocratic attitude towards them and would have responded better to a leader who guides, understands, and encourages, as a father would. His Western staff were less impressed with the increases in salary as they were not being challenged in their work. There was no opportunity for self-development or learning. Furthermore, although his foreign staff were very capable, they did not always understand his use of English or business terms. This created a lack of trust and distanced him from his staff. Different cultures have different ideas about leadership. In many countries, leaders are chosen because of their seniority in the company or age, and not necessarily because of competence or actual production demonstrated. Because Bob was younger than a lot of his staff, many of them felt they were being mistreated. It was clear to Bob that his method of motivation was outdated and ineffective in today's business world. Realizing that Theory X was not effective, Bob delved into Maslow's Theory Z, which understood that human needs had to be met in order to achieve a motivated workforce. Maslow's theory of human motivation recognizes that man's behavior is seen as dominated by unsatisfied needs and created a hierarchy in terms of importance: physiological, safety, love, esteem, and self-actualization. The highest state of self-actualization is characterized by integrity, responsibility, magnanimity, simplicity, and naturalness.
Bob began to recognize the achievements of his staff, rewarding their efforts and giving them chances to learn through training and room to develop themselves in their career, motivating them to achieve more and become self-actualized.
He improved communication and made his team comfortable to speak up, creating trust.
Bob was able to successfully motivate his workforce